I think we're going live here. Live, live. Let's see. It hasn't shown up yet. Live, 20 seconds. Okay. Let's see if we're live on Facebook. We're live on Instagram. This is always, I wish there could just be one button that just allowed me to go on. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. 1 second. Here we go. Okay, I'm just going to share this. Go live here. Share to a page. Share. What's up, Rick? Thanks for tuning in. Share it to a group. All right, share the Elemental Awakening group for those who are in there. I'll share with you guys too. That's enough sharing. We'll get started. Monday morning here in Toronto. They've lifted a lot of the bans here. We're into stage 3, whatever that means. So it looks like they're opening back up. For some reason, saunas are not allowed to open. So we're starting a sauna lobby to see if we can open our saunas again for single use, for people that want to use them, and obviously sanitize afterwards. Been an interesting week. Got a few things to talk about. We're only going to be here for about 10-15 minutes. Like 10-15 minute Monday rant. So I sort of, I guess I'll start with the face mask thing. And for those of you in Europe, please let me know what's going on over there, because I've heard that there's not much of a face mask thing in Europe. So apparently the coronavirus in Europe acts differently with face masks than it does here. And I hear in the US that also a lot of the big retailers have pulled back on their mandate for face masks. And, once I sort of did some research and sort of realized that breathing through a mask wouldn't affect my health personally, it was more of, I see it more as a tool to start getting people to comply with what the government's saying, potentially. It could be, maybe not. But also if it makes people feel sort of safe, I guess that's good to sort of, phase this out, because there's been a lot of fear being pushed in the media. So anything to help all of the people who are very scared feel safe to come back out, I think is a good thing. And so I was really against it. And I was in my mind saying, like, what am I really against here? Like, why do I want us to just push back all the time when the government tells me to do something? And I felt like when I wasn't wearing, like, I'll wear it like right when I go into a place, take it right off when I go out. It was like I was going in and I was waiting for confrontation. I was like on edge. It's this weird thing of like, should I stand up and say, okay, I don't agree, we need to wear masks, but I want to help support the vulnerable and make sure they're safe. I do care about that. But I want people to know that I don't think these things do anything, but if this is the mandate that's going to help people feel safe. So a lot of questions and conversations going on in my head. But I just went in, put the mask on, did my thing, left my nose out so I could breathe, and it all worked out okay. So I want to hear, also Rick's saying in the UK, you cannot go to a shop without one. £100 fine if you get caught not wearing one. Interesting. I also find it interesting this came out now, a couple months after, the peak, and we have cases going up, testing going up, deaths going down. Interesting times. So yeah, let me know what else you guys think. How do you guys feel about that? Do you feel afraid to speak out? I know there's a lot going on, depending on what you believe in. It's challenging sometimes to speak about how you really feel because you're afraid of what other people are going to think of you. We've gone to this point in society where it's like attack culture. You say one thing, it's like, instead of trying to say, hey, wait a minute, maybe you have a point there, let's talk about this. It's like, boom, you're killing people, you're bad, F you. So I think that sort of culture sort of has to change. I think it starts with the media. It's just like this pounding fear type thing. So it's interesting. We'd love to know how you guys feel about anything that you feel a little bit sort of reserved about or not sure about expressing in public. Whether it's political, health related, like things like, the meat versus vegetarian argument, the vaccination versus anti-vaccination, mask versus non-mask. It's so polarized, everything. It's like, okay, let's look at what we can do. I know things are changing in the US too. There's a few interesting things happening right now where there was a certain group of people were caught spying on a certain, the president, and they're making a lot of trouble for that. I think Trump also just create a new act to have free or low cost insulin and EpiPens, which I think is a good move. Pharma's probably going to be upset about that. And these riots that keep going on, it's like, trying to get both sides of the story. I see what the mainstream and the Democrat side is saying. I see what, Trump and them are saying. And it's hard to see what the truth is behind it all. But someone put a post. It's like, there's so much people dying, so many people dying of starvation, being obese, all these things, and like no one really cares. And something we can easily bring a lot more awareness to. So maybe all of this awareness that's coming to these very divisive topics are going to now say like, hey, like if we really care about life in general, all life, how can we sort of make everyone happier, healthier? So. Oh, thanks, Chuck. That's a good point. But I've seen scientists on both sides. I'm going to put a post on Facebook for scientific studies supporting masks and scientific studies that are against masks, and not opinion pieces like the hard science. Because I've seen some people with carbon dioxide meters putting it in there, and I know that's not really like breathing in your own carbon dioxide is not a totally horrible thing. I think the mask with the mold, and if you don't change your mask often, that's going to be more of a problem. But for someone who studies breath work, you should be breathing through your nose. Breathing less is actually better for you. I don't know which side you're on, pro mask or anti-mask, Chuck, but I'd love to hear more about that. And any scientific studies, because I've seen both sides of it, saying they do nothing, they're actually cause more because you're touching your face. And the other one saying like it actually protects. But the actual cloths, so the face mask thing, that you can wear anything really. You can put a cloth over your face, a ripped t-shirt, as long as you're covering your face. And I think it's to stop you from spitting or spraying or sneezing on someone else or when you speak. So anyways, healthy conversation is good here. So I'm just sharing my personal beliefs because there is still this freedom of speech thing. So, even though if we do comply with it, we can still speak about how we feel, if it's infringing on our rights or not, and then maybe things need to be put in place where maybe there's places where you can go where you don't have to wear a mask and you can choose to go there, and other places where you have to, and how much government overstep should be allowed. So it starts here, but then what happens if they say it's a health risk, it's for your own health? Because I remember this happened a lot before World War II. This is for your own good. Listen to us, we know what's best. Not saying we're going there, but could be very soon. Anyways, let's move on. I don't want to talk about this too much. But like when it comes to like the spiritual work and personal development, I was talking a lot about how with a friend, how a lot of times it takes hitting rock bottom to make a big shift in your life. So a lot of people that have gone through big transformations, hey Clarissa, usually got to hit rock bottom first. And then there's like, oh shit, we really need to change now. When it's just bad enough, but it's not too bad, you sort of hang on to that norm that that is comfortably uncomfortable because it's familiar. But it'll get to a certain point where you just can't take it anymore and you want to shift. So I think we're reaching there in 2020. And I think it's going to be a good thing. I think it's going to have these kind of conversations where we can sort of open up to new ideas, how to change. So do you think we're reaching rock bottom yet? I think a war with China might be the point. I hope it doesn't happen. It may happen. But all these things keep happening this year. It's interesting, and I know every time something comes out, it sort of reacts. So, okay, like more pressure, more density, more heaviness. It's like, okay, like you're going to keep getting pushed to this breaking point where it's almost like, not that I wouldn't say you don't care, but you sort of transcend beyond all this madness. And, imagine if we're in like a video game. We chose as souls to come here at this time to experience this so we can learn. You don't want it to be perfect. You want it to be challenging. You want all these challenges. So it's like, let's turn up the crazy a bit. Okay, Donald Trump's your president. And then we have coronavirus. And then we have, all these conspiracy theories coming out. Now, the latest thing is, they've declassified some documents this week that said they have evidence, or they have these extraterrestrial or UFOs that have technology that were not made on this planet. Now, that should be pretty big news if you ask me. I don't know. I saw it on the internet. I don't really watch news, so I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it. I shared it on Facebook, but maybe it was even here from before. Like maybe is a race on the planet. Imagine like this might sound inhumane, but imagine like cows and animals um, that are sort of less superior to us, I guess, from a consciousness level. Do they know, born into captivity, like what's really going on? Do they really know what's happening? So imagine there's this far superior race to us that's sort of been keeping us here, giving us what we need, but it's not really showing themselves. Maybe they've been forever. Who knows? So they say disclosure's coming. I posted a post on my Facebook saying, what do you think's next in 2020? They're going to tell us that the Earth is actually flat or alien invasion. Everyone was like so much on alien invasion. I don't know if that's the programming where you're watching all these alien shows, all this possibility. I think there's definitely life there. There's a lot of theories of why they haven't contacted us. Some people say they're already in contact. I haven't personally met any aliens. I've had some interesting paranormal activities where I've seen lights, never had a direct communication. So I can't say for certain. I've never seen a UFO up front, touched it. So I guess the question is, if lights came in the sky, could the government or people in charge say, oh, like it's alien invasion and get us to do whatever they want us to do? Or do you think that, they're actually here? Are they benevolent? Are they not? Most people say they are. I've heard some people say that they've been watching, waiting, but they're not allowed to based on some universal agreements to interfere with what's going on here until we sort of reach a certain point. Or they said once we can leave our atmosphere or our solar system, then those sort of contacts. So it's interesting. So what do you guys think? Are they here? Some people say they met them. I'd love to hear about that. Ranjan says he's met some extraterrestrials. Do they look like humans? Are there clones? Are they, someone was asking, about reptilians. Are they good? Are they bad? Are those aliens? To be honest, I have no idea. Until I meet one face to face, then I'll definitely make a share. Hopefully I'll bring them on. Maybe we'll do an interview or a podcast with one of them. But it's an interesting conversation how it's starting to come up now. And I'm sure these sort of, like the Roswell crash, Area 51, they talk about deep underground bases right underneath our noses. So are we like, the animals that are in the factory farms and there's this advanced race that's here that we just have no clue, that maybe they're using us. Maybe they're siphoning our energy, our mental energy. Maybe, like who knows? Who knows really? But I'd love to hear what you think about that and what you think is coming next. All right, what else? We'll do a quick pivot here into plant medicine and a fast. So August 1st, I'm doing 10-day fast, no phone, and I'm gonna do dry fast. I haven't done a big fast since the one in 2017 when I did 55 days. Just juice and dry fasting. So I'm going to start with 3 or 4 days of dry fasting. I'm going to invite you guys to come along. It's going to be 10-day total, and I'm shutting off my phone for 10 days. I still have access to internet for work and maybe connect with you guys. But that should be interesting. And one of the reasons why I'm doing that is because after I did iboga ceremony a couple of weeks ago, iboga is a plant medicine from Africa. It's really intense. The next day, this clarity came to me where I just had a lot of trouble sitting down doing nothing. My mind is always like, do something else, do something else. Like I was sitting down on a hammock looking at the trees. I was like, oh, go jump in the waterfall, go play your harmonica, go do this. And I realized I have an overactive mind that never wants to settle. I don't know if any of you guys feel like this. I realize it gets really active at night too. When I'm sleeping, I wake up in the morning and say, okay, what do I got to do? I got to work. I got to get going. So I've been trying to retrace that. I'm doing some shadow work recently. And shadow work is basically finding the aspects of yourself you've denied or repressed that you can't really see. So things might have happened when you're younger that puts a pattern. So I'll try to pull it all together so you understand. So I realized after doing iboga, sitting there, not being able to just relax in the forest on a hammock, that I have this pattern where I need to keep doing more. I need to always keep myself busy. So it's almost like a self-improvement addiction. And I was like, where does this pattern come from? And most patterns come from childhood. So you create this pattern. Maybe your parents say like, hey, you're not good enough, or don't do art. And then now you sort of have this block, you repress it, and you never get with art. You have a chance to draw something. No, I have messy writing. I can't do anything. So I realized that when I was younger, and this goes back to teenage years, I'm sure there's a pattern before that, that whenever I'd feel rejected by friends, by girls, instead of like some people will become more recluse and feel like they'll close themselves off, what I would do is I would try to better myself. So I'd say, I'm going to learn an instrument. I'm going to, go to the gym. I'm going to do all this. And it got me into the state of like entrepreneurship where I would just want to have a business and make money and all these things that I associated with self-worth improvement, that I create this program that I can't sit still, because every time I sit still, it's like I'm wasting time where I could be getting better. And it created this weird sort of loop where I'm always keeping busy and I can never relax. So now how do you sort of fix that? So first it's awareness. First it's awareness. So you got to find awareness of these patterns. And then once you have the pattern, you got to start reprogramming. So you reprogram through repetition plus emotion. So I start finding maybe a mantra or something that after my daily meditation, telling myself, listen, like you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You're doing great. Just relax. And I guess finding times where I can just do absolutely nothing. So no distractions, no phone. So I decided 10-day fast, no phone, no distractions. And the whole point is to fast on food, just water and dry fast, and try to just keep my mind as calm and still as possible. Just take it easy. So I invite you guys to join me. I'm going to go through some comments now, and then I'm going to take off. Remember, it's Monday. Set an intention for your day. Maybe you should take a moment, guys. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Relax. Give yourself a pat on the back. It's Monday. And let's just set an intention for this week. What do we want to accomplish this week? How do we want our week to feel? What's that feeling you want to feel at the end of this week? So for this to be a really good week, how do you want to feel on Friday? Do you want to feel relaxed? Okay. Do you want to feel like you accomplished something? So let's focus on that feeling for this week to be a really good week. How do you want to feel by Friday? Okay. Try to feel that feeling. Take a deep breath in. Visualize yourself on Friday, just feeling the way you want to feel after a very good, productive, relaxing, whatever week you want to have. Okay, so I'm going to go through some comments now. You guys might have some questions. I don't know. Ranjan just has a couple of questions, which we were talking about the spaceship that came inside his room after everyone fell asleep. I've had some really weird dreams as a kid where I was in contact with the alien ships. Actually, interesting enough, this is crazy, but I had a dream where there's an alien ship in my backyard. And when I went into the backyard, my father came out of the alien ship, and he was like this green energy field, and one side of his body was missing. And fast forward like 20 years later, he actually had a stroke and cannot use half of his body. And when he had the stroke, I just had this flashback of that image. I don't know if they're trying to tell me something. It's just weird coincidence. Like for me, that's not a affirmation that aliens are real. I just thought it was maybe something weird. Sandra says, I haven't either, but I believe they are here in other worlds in the galaxy. We're not alone. Oh, I know Elizabeth. Right, Karen. I started following Elizabeth April on Instagram. She channels the Galactic Federation. Very interesting. So yeah, I know April. And when I hear these people, like the things that they're channeling are so compelling and they make sense. I've heard a lot of conflicting things. Like there's like Bashar and all these other people. A lot of people say similar things. But for me to actually say like they're aliens, I'd have to have my own experience and where that's coming from. The aliens assured Ranjan that things are going well. I shouldn't feel bad all the time. Good. Talking about fasting. Awesome, Ranjan. Good job, brother. What instrument do you learn? I learn guitar. I'm going to play some more guitar on my channel here in the near future. Sandra, do I believe in God? I believe in a creator. I believe that there is some intelligent being that is creating. And I think we're also creators. So we're all reflections of this God. And I'll share one more thing really quickly, which I love this concept. So someone was sharing, a good friend of mine from the States was sharing about, he just recently got into A Course in Miracles. I don't know if any of you guys have been into that. And I'm going to try to explain this, but he said that there was a point where the Son of God sort of, for just a split second, thought that they could create their own sort of be a creator. And in that instant, they then feared that God would sort of be upset with them. And so they ran away from God, fearing that God would be upset, and went on to create this world and running away and having sort of this sort of self-conscious reflection. But really God didn't care, sort of laughing at this. And this is this whole experience. That's what started the Big Bang. And so created this sort of like this split in the mind of questioning yourself, which is interesting. And then this is all a reflection of that. And it was supposed to be like two ways that come out of it. You can be selfish or you can be selfless, which is very interesting. And eventually, you'll both find your pathway to sort of reconnecting with your God, which is yourself or the creator. But the faster path is selfless. The harder path is also selfless. But me and my friend Thais, the founder of Personal Development School, are talking about this in between, which is selfish, which is like you do everything for yourself, for your own gain, for to sort of push yourself forward. There's selflessness. So when you just give everything of yourself, but that's also sort of another coping mechanism. You try to like to give everything away because you don't have your self-worth. But the combined, we called it selfness. So it's being of service to others, but also including yourself in that. So being of help, but helping yourself, being able to receive when you give. And I think people sort of miss that. I think that's sort of the embodiment we all want to have is like, be there to sort of be of service to as many people as possible, but be also at the same time in service to yourself. So treating yourself as an equal to those who you want to help. Receiving, being able to receive when you give all the time. A lot of people have trouble receiving. So, anyways, I thought that was interesting. So, do I believe in God? I believe there's a creator. I don't believe there's a guy or a woman up there creating. I believe there's this energy that is present in the entire universe. And I believe in a lot of different concepts. I've read many different religious texts from the Bhagavad Gita to Eastern philosophy to different Christianity, certain books on Christianity to, different philosophers, plant medicine, tribes, native traditions. And they all have a similar threads that are sort of creating my fabric of reality. But I don't know for certain what the truth is. I don't know. I know what my truth is and the way I perceive this world, and it's changing all the time. And what I would say is the more that I learn, the less that I know. It just gets bigger and bigger, which is an amazing thing. I thought one day I'd figure out there's an answer, but I don't think we're here to find the answer. I think we're here to journey and ask more questions. So thanks for tuning in. Went a little longer than usual this day, guys. New podcast coming out. I got some great guests. I'm so excited this next month about breathing, about psychedelics. I didn't really get into the high dose psilocybin today. I'll talk about that next week. And some cannabis stuff as well as a teacher, as a medicine, which I don't think it's used enough as, or most people are just using it. We'll talk about that next week. Any questions, guys? Leave a message. Thank you so much. I love you. Have an amazing week. Have an amazing day. Be positive. Direct your focus on what you want to create. Don't focus on the negative. Be aware of it, but transfer that energy. Whatever it's reminding you of, focus on putting your intention into the right space. And have a great day. Peace.